Yo, what is going on, guys? So we have another edition of the farming update, and I will continue to call these advanced quest farming updates because as long as they're going to be throwing in these literal farming CEs that make it way easier to farm in FGO, it is going to be considered a farming update because, well, it is an update to the way that we are going to be farming in FGO. So if you don't like it being called the farming update, deal with it. But before we begin real quick, I want to talk about these quests, and some of them may seem a little intense, and they might seem a little bit more difficult because you have to have your own servants. For the advanced quests, you're not allowed to bring any friends. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of strategies and guides for taking some of these down. But before we begin, if you're not already, make sure to leave a like on the video and you subscribe to the channel for that sweet daily FGO content. Also note that I stream every weekday over my Twitch, linked down in the description down below, usually starting at around 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and going for a couple of hours. That's if you just want to see me play FGO, or maybe you have some further questions that I didn't answer in a video or something, or you just want to discuss and chop it up with me and some guys in chat. Always a fun time. Finally, I also wanted to announce that I'm going to be hosting a $150 Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel tournament on the 10th. That is next Saturday. If you would like to compete, make sure you come to the Discord. The rules are in the announcement. It's pretty much bring whatever deck you want, as long as it's compliant with Master Duel's ban list, the current ban list. And yeah, just DM me the deck you're going to be running, the deck list, all that good stuff, and I will sign you up for next Saturday. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and dive right into this, starting off with the chain quest. Now, this one seems like it could be really annoying, but in all reality, you can stall this one out. Basically, you have this gold keystone that's going to be summoning this assassin and this caster one every single turn, and it's going to cost it 20,000 to do that. Now, these guys are a little bit annoying because they're going to fire their NP every single turn, but then they also commit unalive whenever they fire their NP. Now, here's kind of the thing. The assassin one, when it dies, it sucks 20k from the main caster, but if it fires his NP, it's going to recover its HP by 20k. On contrast, the caster one is going to restore the gold one by 40k, but on its NP is going to drain its HP by 20k. That sounds a little bit confusing, but essentially what you want to do is you want to stop the assassin one from firing its NP at all costs, right? That's going to allow you to kind of speed things up a little bit because you just don't want it to, like, be using its NP to recover this guy's HP, because this guy is pretty much undamageable. I mean, the damage cut and the immunity on there is absolutely insane. So you want to be relying on trying to take this guy out, or maybe like baiting this into using its NP a few times, the caster one, because that can also get you a little bit of extra damage. But in all reality, you can actually stall them out, right? You can actually get more damage just over time if you just kind of let them slowly die. They'll slowly start draining more and more HP from the retaining keystone, especially if you're just taking out the assassin one whenever you can. You will be doing more damage. It'll take you around, on average, maybe 10 to 20 turns, depending on what your comp is going to be. But realistically, this isn't like a super hard thing to do, because if you're bringing riders to take these guys out, the only guy you should be concerned with is the assassin, but you shouldn't be bringing riders. You should be focusing all in on casters to make sure you're always taking this guy out to keep yourself, topped off on doing damage, which means you should really have no big issues here whatsoever. So try to take this guy out as much as possible, and this guy will slowly crumble within, again, 10 to 20 turns, depending on, how consistent you're running and everything, and what team setup you're able to do. But everybody should be able to do this. Ideally, something like the Morgan, Castoria, Lady Avalon setup will just absolutely crush this, because they could stall until the end of time. Any other servant that you think can stall really well, Chi Shi Huang, Ku Alter, Heracles, even Ku could probably get the job done since the HP is quite low here. They should be able to take something like this out. You just got to be patient. This is going to be one that you're going to need a little bit of patience, but you can get it done. This next fight here is really cancerous. I'm not even going to hold you guys. Now, initially, I was like, oh, this is really easy. You just bring Castoria. It doesn't matter, but no, these infection buffs are unremovable. So let me just get that out there before anyone's like, no, I just bring a Castoria setup and I just cleanse the infections and it'll be easy, bada boom, bada bing, right? Because it's not poison, it's a whole new buff, right? It's really annoying because once you get 7 stacks of these, your servants are forced to retreat. So this is going to be one of those things where you want to keep the enemy off of you for as long as possible, because every time they attack one of your servants, they are one step closer to being booted off. Now, to be fair, you do have your latest infection removed every 3 turns, but especially when they're really like smacking them on you like this, things can get dicey really, really bad, especially if you have a really bad turn where, let's say that you are doing like a Castoria Lady Avalon setup. They might all attack Castoria. Like, they might just jump Castoria and she is out of the fight, right? Like, they will really stack these things up and it can get really, really annoying. So, honestly, my best advice for this one is just take advantage of the fact that, like, your first 3 waves are, like, all rider dudes. Just try to smack them out of the fight as soon as possible. I mean, you got, like, an archer there, and there. But, like, for instance, me, like, I have an NP3 Kiara over on the JP version of the game. I know that's not exactly free-to-play friendly, but, you know, that's what the GSSR gave me. But I'm sure she'll be able to clean up a lot of this. If you have Ibuki, she's going to absolutely kill this. If you have Space Ishtar, she can also do really good for this. Kama can do really good for this. Like, you're really strong arts looping people, because while these aren't casters, they are riders, and riders give you a decent refund back, so you should be able to loop through a lot of this, and maybe bring like an extra loop or something along that lines, and you should be able to tear through this pretty easily. The reason, though, I kind of lean towards, like, say, a Kiara, or maybe like a Kama / Ibuki, or Musashi even, is that they'll be able to, like, really hit a lot of damage here and really be able to burst these guys down. Space Ishtar as well, if you're getting Brave Chains, can really deal with these guys, because this shouldn't really be your problem. You should be able to blitz past most of these guys before they can even touch you. Even if there is 6 people on the board, it's going to be these guys that are really going to be a struggle for you, because they're a little chunky, right? Like, they're kind of at that point where they're not so large in the HP department that they're impossible to beat, but they are annoyingly big, right? They are big to an annoying degree. So, yeah, this one could just be a little bit annoying. It's going to be a little bit of a trial and error, but again, these only cost 5 AP, and just try to set up your board as best as possible. I mean, if you don't have, you know, ways to boost your arts looper people, right? Just keep in mind you have people like Asclepius, you have people like Parasussi. If you pulled the new Lady Avalon, Tamamo, Nero Bride, they can all buff your art servants, right? Buster servants, if you don't really have Koyanskaya, you might be kind of up a creek, because you don't really want to be using someone like Merlin, because that's a little too stally, and stalling this fight is not going to be a good idea, right? You don't really want to be doing that. But again, you can tear through it pretty quickly because there are 6 people on the board at any one time. That does mean your quick looping is also opened up a lot more, because quick servants, as we know, struggle to loop a little bit more than, say, art servants do, because just quick cards have less inherent NP gain. They're actually going to be a lot better for this, because 6 enemies on board means more overkill. So, again, if you've got, maybe you don't have the art setup, but maybe you pulled Ruler Scotty, you have a normal Scotty, you can just pop off with like a Lancelot, a Edmund Dantes, Okita Saber could probably get it done, but these archers are going to make it really annoying. But you guys get what I'm trying to say. If you got a Voyager, he's also really good. Jacques de Molay could do really good here. Just people to keep in mind. You're just going to want to try to blitz through this one as much as possible. Now, this one's either going to be stupid easy for you, or this one is going to be a little annoying. So, the main gist of this fight is that you want to take out both of the Oni arms simultaneously, because they will regen one another. And when they go down, Ibaraki can actually be damaged. I mean, not that she can't be damaged beforehand, but you're really kind of being insane trying to do that, right? Like, you could do it, but she's got a lot of, like, defense, right? She's super stacked up, so while you could do it, it's not going to be a fun time. The problem is that once you go ahead and knock out the arms, you're kind of on a clock, because Ibaraki is going to be critting you a lot more, and she's going to be smashing you with NPs every single turn. Now, that's not completely undoable. You could obviously nuke her, or if you're a lucky person like myself, you can break out Watanabe no Suna, because here's the funny thing about Ibaraki. She is both an Oni and has the demonic trait. And here is the absolutely hilarious thing about Suna. He's got a 200% special damage mod against Onis and demonic. Would you look at that? Sounds like Suna's going to absolutely crush this in conjunction with having this up here. So really, for this fight, he's got a 300% buff against Onis, and he is going to crush the daylights out of Ibaraki. Mine is NP1, and I'm pretty sure I could trash this first try, just because the buffs your Suna is going to be getting are absolutely insane. Some other things, though, that I was thinking about when it comes to nuking is that Ibaraki notably does have the female trait, so someone like Jack might be able to kind of get the job done here if you do have enough quick supports for her. Another option, though, would be, let's say you nuke both of these guys on the side. Like, I don't know, maybe you pop off like an Artoria, a Gilgamesh could do really good damage because she is weak to Enema Elish. Whatever you can do to kill both the arms at the same time. And then you could bring the other anti-female servant, that being Carmilla, and, you know, if you got him, nuke her into the ground. You know, you just nuke Ibaraki into the dirt with someone like Oberon plus Koyanskaya. Keep in mind, Buster Servant's still really, really good at nuking. If you have anybody else on your account that has a damage mod against demonics, females, Onis, people like that, you're definitely going to want to bring them. One of the people that I was initially thinking was going to be Kajekio, because I thought Ibaraki would have the Genji trait, but it turns out that I did not study my Japanese history, and I did not know that Ibaraki did not have the Genji trait. So that was going to be one of my big ideas. I'd be like, ooh, you bring Genji, and she finally gets the flex, and it's like, or not Genji, but you get to bring, what is her? I just forgot, I just said her name. What is her name? Kajekio, that's what it is. I was like, dude, I just said her name. But yeah, and you get to flex all over the Genji, but apparently we're not going to get to do that, so... Yeah, this one's going to be more of like you nuke her with Suna, or you're going to be nuking her with Oberon, or you're going to be praying to Lasengel that your Jack can carry you home. Regardless, you're going to need a team that is going to be a little thick, because this is definitely going to hurt. Nothing like a Castoria or something can't help keep you alive, and especially like Castoria plus Lady Avalon. The amount of defense they have going for that party is absolutely ridiculous, but you are kind of just biding your time in a stall setup. You want to try to just obliterate Ibaraki, which, if you have Oberon, not really all that hard to do. In fact, this makes Merlin really good as well, because, you know, you have somebody nuke, you have Merlin dump all the buffs onto your Carmilla, have Oberon dump all of his buffs onto that Carmilla, then plug suit out for a Koyanskaya, because keep in mind, Oberon doesn't, like, make you useless immediately, right? Like, you get some stuff, right? You get, like, some things going on for you, you know? To do a little bit of damage, but yeah, I mean, they're pretty much useless. I'm trying to cope here, okay? I was coping, because realistically, if you don't kill them, you're taunting, right? I guess, right? Like, that's what I mean. I was like, well, I mean, you're not completely useless. They could get nuked by Ibaraki, but I was like, no, nobody cares about that. People only really care about this, right? The big damage you get for the one turn. No one cares that, like, well, I mean, they're a sponge for Ibaraki, but I'm sure big brain people will also, like, use that to their advantage. You know, you could have, like, Oberon over here, set somebody up as like a big nuke, and then have them be a sacrifice, right? Because, you know, they've got the taunt for 3 turns, so they can keep Ibaraki off your back. But I don't know. Those are the new quests, though. I think most people should be able to get these done. This one seems like it'll be like most people can get it done. It's just going to be annoying. This one might take a couple of tries, but, you know, nuking does seem to be the way to go. And then this one just seems like you'll either beat it your first or 5th try, right? Like, it's going to be one of those things where, like, you either cakewalk it or you get clapped up. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I am personally really happy every time they roll out some of these farming updates. But yeah, best of luck to everybody on JP farming these. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys have yourselves a nice day. Peace. Late, guys.